Kevin Durant has officially been traded to the Houston Rockets. And this isn't just big, it's historic. In the full deal, Houston receives Kevin Durant, while Phoenix gets Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, the number 10 pick in the 2025 draft, and 5 second-rounders. Yeah, that's real. The Rockets just flipped their future for a 36-year-old legend, and the Suns just tore down their super team again. But why would Houston go all in now? And did Phoenix just pull off a genius reset or lose their best shot at a ring? What happens next could change the NBA for years. Kevin Durant to the Rockets. Say that out loud. It sounds like a glitch in 2K, not a real-life trade, but it happened. The Suns officially sent KD to the Houston Rockets in exchange for Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, and multiple draft picks. Now, let's be clear. This isn't just a blockbuster move, this is a franchise-altering pivot for both teams. Phoenix, once stacked with firepower, just let go of one of the most dangerous scorers the league has ever seen. And Houston, a team that spent years rebuilding, suddenly hit the gas pedal like they're trying to skip the process entirely. NBA fans and insiders are still scrambling to figure out what just happened. But trust, there's always a deeper reason behind a trade this wild, and the Suns' reasoning. That's where things start getting real interesting. On the surface, this trade doesn't make sense. Why would Phoenix dump Kevin Durant, a certified bucket, still averaging over 25 points a game, for a young guard, a defensive wildcard, and future picks? But look closer, and the cracks start to show. First, age and timeline. Durant turns 36 this year. Booker and Beal, still in their prime. Phoenix might have realized their big three wasn't built to last. Injuries, awkward fit, and zero bench depth had the Suns crumbling under pressure. Second, money. KD's contract is massive. Combine that with Beal's deal and Booker's extension, and the Suns were drowning in luxury tax. Letting go of Durant doesn't just free up money, it gives them breathing room to build a more balanced roster. And finally, there's the unspoken truth. Durant didn't look happy. Behind the scenes, reports hinted at tension, disagreements over the system, touches, and Phoenix's direction. So maybe, just maybe, the Suns didn't trade Durant to tank, they traded him to survive. But that leads to a bigger question: why did Houston want him in the first place? At first glance, this feels like Houston just hijacked a superstar for clout. But this was a calculated power move. The Rockets weren't supposed to be in win-now mode. They had Jalen Green, Alperen Sengun, Jabari Smith Jr., a young core still figuring things out. Then came Fred VanVleet, then Dillon Brooks, now Kevin Durant. You don't trade for a 36-year-old Hall of Famer unless you're done waiting. Houston's front office just put the league on notice. No more develop and see. No more moral victories. This is go time. With Ime Udoka as head coach, someone known for demanding toughness and discipline, Durant becomes the centerpiece of a team that suddenly has veterans, defense, shooters, and attitude. And the crazy part? KD might actually fit better here than he did in Phoenix. But for Houston to take this swing, they had to sacrifice something major. Jalen Green, gone. Which brings us to the next question. Did the Rockets just give up on a future star too soon? Jalen Green was supposed to be the guy. Drafted second overall, flashy, explosive, marketable. But after 3 seasons of highlights and head-scratching decisions, the Rockets decided to move on. So, what happened? Some say he never had structure, too much freedom, not enough guidance. Others think he just didn't evolve. His efficiency stayed low. His defense stayed questionable. And his decision-making often left fans yelling at their screens. But even then, he's only 22. Guys like Zach LaVine and De'Aaron Fox didn't fully bloom until year 4 or 5. Green's raw talent is undeniable. He's a walking bucket with crazy bounce and underrated passing when he locks in. That's why Phoenix pounced. They didn't just grab a rebuild piece, they might have stolen a future all-star. Now imagine him next to Booker and Beal. Less pressure, more spacing, and a coaching staff that needs him to step up. So maybe Houston gave up on him early, or maybe Phoenix just won the long game. But they didn't just get Jalen. They also got one of the NBA's most polarizing players, Dillon Brooks, and that changes the energy completely. If there's one name that guarantees drama, it's Dillon Brooks. Trash talker, LeBron agitator, walking headline. After his messy exit from Memphis, most teams wouldn't touch him. But Houston did, and now Phoenix just took him on as part of the deal. So the big question is Brooks more trouble than he's worth? Not necessarily. Say what you want about his attitude. He defends like a man possessed. He guards the best player every night, plays physical, and brings a gritty edge that Phoenix frankly lacked. The Suns have always leaned finesse. Booker's smooth, Beal's calculated. Durant was surgical. But Brooks, he's chaos in a jersey. And sometimes that's exactly what a team needs when they've been too polite for too long. Of course, he's also a walking tech foul, and if he lets his ego override his role, it could implode fast. But on a team looking for identity after Durant, Brooks brings personality, whether you like it or not, and that's what makes this whole trade so layered. Because while all eyes are on KD and Green, there's a deeper legacy storyline bubbling underneath, and it's all about Durant himself. Here we go again. Kevin Durant, one of the most gifted scorers the game has ever seen, is on his fourth team in 7 years. OKC, Golden State, Brooklyn, Phoenix, and now, Houston. Each stop started with hope and ended with a headline. He's been called a ring chaser, a snake, a nomad. But strip away the noise, and you'll see a pattern. Durant doesn't wait for systems to fix themselves. If something's broken, he's out. In Phoenix, it was chemistry. In Brooklyn, it was Kyrie and chaos. In Golden State, it was identity. KD's not afraid to burn a bridge if he thinks there's a better one up ahead. And maybe that's the problem. Or maybe that's what makes him dangerous. He's not trying to please the internet. He's trying to win, on his terms. But every move chips away at something bigger: legacy. Greats like Kobe, Duncan, and Dirk are remembered for loyalty. Durant, he's remembered for movement. And with every jersey swap, the pressure grows. Because when you're this talented, rings aren't optional. They're required. Now he's in Houston, surrounded by new faces and new expectations. But if this doesn't work out, the conversations will get even louder. Every blockbuster trade has clear winners and losers, but sometimes the most dangerous impact comes from the team that didn't even make a move. Let's break it down. Winners. The Rockets just went from rebuilding to contending. KD instantly raises their floor, and if he stays healthy, their ceiling's top tier. Ime Udoka finally has a squad full of grown men who can compete right now. Phoenix. Tough to say. They lost their most consistent playoff performer, but they gained flexibility, future assets, and a chance to reshape the roster around Booker. It's not a total win, but it might be a smart retreat. Jalen Green. Huge opportunity. In Houston, he was stuck in a crowded backcourt. In Phoenix, he could blossom into a star, or fade completely. But now the spotlight is his to own. Losers, honestly, maybe Durant. If this move flops, it'll be harder than ever to defend his legacy. And if injuries creep back in, the Rockets may regret mortgaging youth and picks for a window that closes too fast. But here's the sneaky part. Teams like the Warriors, Lakers, and Clippers just watch two Western rivals shake up their entire foundations. If Houston stumbles to gel, or Phoenix takes a step back, suddenly those aging contenders have a path back to relevance. Sometimes, the most dangerous teams are the ones who just stay quiet and wait. This trade didn't just shake up two teams, it restructured the entire Western Conference overnight. Before the deal, the Rockets were a fun league pass team. Now, they're a problem. If KD stays healthy and Udoka gets buy-in, this team has the defense, shooting, and leadership to push into the top 5. Fred VanVleet sets the tone. KD delivers the buckets, and guys like Jabari Smith and Tari Eason bring the length and hustle. Meanwhile, Phoenix, they go from super team to reset button. Without Durant, their offense is still dangerous, but now they've got to prove they can win with balance, not just firepower. Booker becomes the clear hash one. Jalen Green becomes the wild card, and suddenly the Suns feel more human. Then there's the ripple effect. Teams like the Kings, Timberwolves, and Pelicans now have a better shot at climbing the ranks, because when giants stumble or retool, it opens the door for hungry contenders. And don't forget, Golden State, Dallas, and the Lakers are all lurking with chips on their shoulders. This wasn't just a trade, it was a warning shot. The Western Conference just got way more unpredictable. This trade won't just change stat sheets, it'll reshape careers. For Kevin Durant, this could be the last big swing. Another jersey, another promise, another shot at proving he can lead a team from the front, not just join a super team, but build one. If he wins in Houston, the narrative flips. If he doesn't, the whispers about chasing comfort, not challenge, will only grow louder. For Jalen Green, this is a reset. He's no longer the face of a rebuild. He's now the X factor on a playoff team. He can either rise into the spotlight or disappear in it. This is his moment to evolve from potential to proof. For Dillon Brooks, it's legacy rehab. Memphis burned that bridge, Houston rebuilt it. Now Phoenix gives him a third chance to either become a defensive cornerstone or collapse under his own noise. And for the Suns and Rockets, it's bigger than basketball. Phoenix is signaling the end of the super team era. They're betting on balance, development, and longevity. Houston, they're done rebuilding. They want smoke. Now, this trade wasn't just about the present, it was about rewriting futures. Because in the NBA, legacies aren't just built on rings, they're built on the moves you're brave enough to make.